Hari Om everyone. Swamiji is on his way, so we will start with the bhajans and resume the program.
गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन, शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। सदन गजवदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सबलायक, सिद्धि सदन गजवदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सबलायक, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगल दाता, विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि विदाता, मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगल दाता, विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि विदाता, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। मांगत तुलसीदास कर जोरे, बसहु राम सिया मानस मोरे, मांगत तुलसीदास कर जोरे, बसहु राम सिया मानस मोरे, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। शंकर सुवन भवानी वंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन, गाइए गणपति जगवंदन। गोकुल नंदन हे मधुसूदन, गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा, गोकुल नंदन हे मधुसूदन, गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा, राधा रमण कौस्तुभभूषण क्षीराब्धिशयन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा राधारमण कौस्तुभभूषण क्षीराब्धिशयन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा गोकुलनन्दन हे मधुसूदन गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नन्दकिशोर नवनीतचोर करुणासागर हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नन्दकिशोर नवनीतचोर करुणासागर हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा श्यामसुन्दर शङ्खचक्रधर सुमधुरगम्भीर हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा श्यामसुन्दर शङ्खचक्रधर सुमधुरगम्भीर हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा वेणुविलोल विजय गोपाल श्रितजनपाल हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा वेणुविलोल विजय गोपाल श्रितजनपाल हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा गोकुलबाल रमदालोल रासविलोल हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा गोकुलबाल रमदालोल रासविलोल हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा गोकुलनन्दन हे मधुसूदन गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कंसच्छेदन कालियमर्दन गोपीमोहन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कंसच्छेदन कालियमर्दन गोपीमोहन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नीरजनेत्र रम्यचरित्र परम पवित्र हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नीरजनेत्र रम्यचरित्र परम पवित्र हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा राकेन्दुवदन रञ्जित भुवन राजीवनयन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा राकेन्दुवदन रञ्जित भुवन राजीवनयन हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नवनटनागर गोवर्धनधर पापविदूर हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा नवनटनागर गोवर्धनधर पापविदूर हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण गोकुलनन्दन हे मधुसूदन गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राधारमण कौस्तुभभूषण क्षीराब्धिशयन हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण गोकुलनन्दन हे मधुसूदन गोपरिपालन हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण शङ्करा चन्द्रशेखरा गङ्गाधरा सुमनोहरा शङ्करा चन्द्रशेखरा गङ्गाधरा सुमनोहरा पाहि मां परमेश्वर मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा पाहि मां परमेश्वर मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा शङ्करा चन्द्रशेखरा गङ्गाधरा सुमनोहरा नीलकण्ठ फालनेत्र भस्मभूषित सुन्दरा नीलकण्ठ फालनेत्र भस्मभूषित सुन्दरा पाहि मां करुणाकरा गिरिजेश ओङ्कारेश्वरा पाहि मां करुणाकरा गिरिजेश ओङ्कारेश्वरा नीलकण्ठ फालनेत्र भस्मभूषित सुन्दरा नीलकण्ठ फालनेत्र भस्मभूषित सुन्दरा पाहि मां करुणाकरा गिरिजेश ओङ्कारेश्वरा पाहि मां करुणाकरा गिरिजेश ओङ्कारेश्वरा शङ्करा चन्द्रशेखरा गङ्गाधरा सुमनोहरा ताण्डवप्रिय जय नटेश विश्वनाथ महेश्वरा ताण्डवप्रिय जय नटेश विश्वनाथ महेश्वरा पाहि मां अभयङ्करा व्याघ्रचर्माम्बरधरा पाहि मां अभयङ्करा आव्याघ्रचर्माम्बरधरा ताण्डवप्रिय जय नटेश विश्वनाथ महेश्वरा ताण्डवप्रिय जय नटेश विश्वनाथ महेश्वरा पाहि मां कभयङ्करा आव्याघ्रचर्माम्बरधरा पाहि माम् अभयङ्करा आव्याघ्रचर्माम्बरधरा शङ्करा चन्द्रशेखरा गङ्गाधरा सुमनोहरा पाहि मां परमेश्वरा मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा पाहि मां परमेश्वरा मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा मृत्युञ्जय विश्वेश्वरा
Hari Om to all of you. I don't quite see the smiles here. Either you love the bhajans or you are in a totally different state altogether. So thank you for your attendance and participation. Swamiji is on his way. Wonderful. Can I request everyone to be seated, please? Satishji, can I request you to have the pictures on? Sure. No problem. Hari Om to everyone assembled. We'll give just a few more seconds for people who are lingering there. Sunilji, can you come in? Can you request everyone else to come in as well? Hope everyone had their tea and coffee and everything outside the auditorium, because one of the housekeeping rules that I was going to mention is that requesting people kindly not to bring any food or tea and coffee in the auditorium. I think I got the signal to start. Hari Om to everyone assembled. As I think we all know, one of Bhagavan Krishna's first lines of advice to Prince Arjuna in the Gita is Na anushochanti panditaha. It's verse number 11 from chapter 2, I believe. It says that the wise don't grieve. That's what Bhagavan Krishna said. And even in the Ramayanam, when Prince Bharata comes to Ayodhya and meets sage Vasishta, his guru, Bharata is in a very, very terrible state. Father no more, Rama, Sita, Lakshmana in exile, mother responsible for all of this tragedy. Looking at his state, his guru, he says, do not grieve, dear prince. There is no reason to. Your father was a noble person. Rama is at peace. Everything is fine. Do not grieve. But he also mentions that people who should grieve are the following: the ones who do not have faith in our scriptures, the ones who don't lead a dharmic life, and the ones who do not follow the instructions of the guru. Sri Dharmarajan Ji is truly a guru, and the context for this assembly today is not to grieve, but to remember him and share how we can traverse this journey forward, the journey towards the peak of enlightenment through the milestones of Seva, Bhakti, and Jnana. Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh welcomes everyone to this session. A few housekeeping announcements. Please silence your phones. This session will be available on YouTube with a private link, which we will share later with all of you. Kindly request everyone to not bring any food, tea, and coffee inside, and request all of the speakers to be seated in the first row if possible. So Somji, Shashi, Gopal, Siddhu, Mahesh, and also Venkatji as well. With that, I will request, Swamiji is here. We'll have a brief pause as we welcome Swamiji to come and be seated. Hari Om Swamiji. Somji, can I request you to speak, please?
Hari Om. I'm Som Sharma, one of the initial members of Chinmaya Mission in Pittsburgh. And when we remember Dr. Dharmarajan, whom I call Raj, his day is very special. He was with us, and as I heard Ganesh saying just before I came in, that he was a true guru. For us, of course, Raj was a friend and a guru. We have together gone through many challenges, and perhaps the biggest challenges was to keep the mission of Gurudev going, which doesn't look like today, but when we look back, for some time it was very, very difficult. Resources of the community were much more limited than what we have today, and we were only a few of us. So the question was, how do we do it? And in that respect, Raj was one of our guiding force, because he was himself so knowledgeable and yet so humble. And on the other hand, when you look at him even today, when Chinmaya Mission Amarnath came along, or before that we had the center in Monroeville, he was always a member of the pioneering group, a true team member. So I cannot say that there's a whole lot as far as his contribution in spreading Vedantic word is concerned. He taught young children in Bal Vihar and also adults, and continued to perform satsang many days in a week, as a matter of fact. So of course I miss him very much, but on the other hand, as we all are told in our scriptures, what use do we put to our human birth, which is so special? And in that sense, I think Raj stands the tallest. He really practiced what we are taught. A couple things that come to mind from northern India. There is a Subhashita saying that Saraswati ke bhandar ki badi apurva baat, ज्यों खर्चे त्यों त्यों बढ़े, बिन खर्चे घट जात. The wealth of knowledge is such that the more you give out, the more you get. It's a very rare wealth, and we sometimes forget that. And the second line, if you don't spend it, if you don't share with other people, you actually reduce your own knowledge. And I think Raj personified it. So, with those words, I would say, I'll miss Raj. I think, as Ganesh was saying, we should all try to take inspiration from personalities like him and follow the path shown to us by Gurudev. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Uncle. Thank you. I'd like to request Shashi and Gopal to please come forward. Thank you.
Hari Om Swamiji, Hari Om everyone. Good evening everyone. Tonight we gather to honor and rejoice in the remarkable life of Sri Dharmarajan, whose presence enriched our lives with warmth, wisdom, and boundless inspiration. My journey with Sri Dharmarajan began in 2003 when I first met him at a birthday party hosted at SV Temple. Seated next to him by chance, I had no inkling of his significance at that time. Yet, with a gentle introduction, Sri Dharmarajan seamlessly guided our conversation towards the insights of Hindu culture, effortlessly delving into the profound teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita's Ratha Kalpana metaphor, shedding light on the profound connection between the senses, mind, intellect, and the self. As the destiny would have it, our paths intersected again in 2004 within the halls of SV Temple. It was there that Sri Dharmarajan extended an invitation to join an adult study group he was initiating, a gesture that would ignite a profound passion for Vedanta within me. For 4 years, I avidly attended his classes, never missed a session. Upon returning home, my wife Sasigala would inquire about the day's teaching. My standard response became, I don't know. But the class was enriching and I was in peace. In early 2008, during my active service at SV Temple, Sri Dharmarajan Ji approached me with an unexpected proposal, the creation of Chinmaya Sanjeevani Center, which is the mother center of Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh in Monroeville. He informed me that Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayananda is coming to inaugurate the center in August, and we need volunteer help. And he emphasized the need for volunteers. Initially hesitant due to my commitment at the temple, I expressed my concerns to Sri Dharmarajan. However, he reassured me, suggesting that my assistance would only be required temporarily until the inauguration. Little did I anticipate that this short-term commitment would extend into a 16-year journey so far. It seems that everything was predetermined, as they say. Yet, through these divine encounters, Sri Dharmarajan left an indelible mark in my life, a legacy of wisdom, guidance, and unwavering inspiration that will continue to resonate within me until my last breath. Sri Dharmarajan was a source of guidance for those who have crossed paths with him. His wisdom wasn't confined to textbooks or classroom. Rather, it was rooted in experience of life richly lived. Whether in times of joy or moments of adversity, Sri Dharmarajan had an uncanny ability to offer insights that transcended the ordinary. Just a few hours prior to Sri Dharmarajan Ji passing away, we engaged in a conversation about Vedanta. Interestingly, I happened to capture his teachings that day, marking the sole recorded instance for his 40 years of Vedanta instruction. On that day, Sri Dharmarajan Ji conveyed his wisdom on Karma Yoga, granting me fresh insights into Vedanta. Sri Dharmarajan Ji, you were more than just a teacher to me. You are a guiding light in my life. Your wisdom and kindness touched my heart in ways I can't fully express. Even though you are no longer with us, your spirit lives on the lessons you taught and the love you shared. Your departure feels like a loss, but I find comfort in knowing that you are now a part of this universe, guiding us from within and without. May Sri Dharmarajan Ji's soul find eternal peace at the lotus feet of Param Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda. May the echoes of his scriptural teachings resonate in the hearts for generations to come. I express my deepest gratitude to Sri Dharmarajan for shaping my path in Vedanta, and my utmost sincere gratitude for introducing me to Chinmaya Mission. My family and I are forever indebted and grateful to Sri Dharmarajan and Srimati Vishalamji. Sri Dharmarajan is a cherished soul who graced our lives with love and warmth. Until we meet again in the realms beyond, Sri Dharmarajan, you will be dearly missed but never forgotten. With love and gratitude, Hari Om.
Hari Om Gopal, thank you. Can I request Sri Mahesh Mallikarjun to say a few words?
Hari Om, everybody. For some of you who don't know me, I'm Mahesh Mallikarjun and my wife Sidhu Mallikarjun. We are very much indebted to uncle and auntie, and for a long time, uncle did satsang at our house, and we really learned a lot from his teachings. He gave us a guideline, and we did a lot of chanting, bhajans, any spiritual, religious involvement, anywhere uncle would come, and he helped us out a lot for me and my family. And there is no words I can describe. Today I remember he always used to say some teachings of Swami Akhandananda Maharaj and Swami Chinmayananda. Those teachings are still, all the stories he used to say every single satsang. We used to repeatedly listen to those again and again from him. That is embedded in my heart. And I follow all the teachings, and God gave grace to us through him. And Guru Shishya Parampara, the words really came to us, and all the teachings of Chinmayananda has flown to Pittsburgh through him. And I really appreciate for all the teachings that uncle has done to us, and hopefully we follow his teachings in the future. I really, really appreciate everything to their family. Thank you.
So, Uncle was like most of us, he was my first guru and our family's guru. And whenever a situation comes about, we would always think, okay, what would Uncle say or what would Uncle do? So that kind of keeps us in the line. He would always say, put Dharma first, put Dharma first. As long as you have Dharma, you're walking in the right path. And if it wasn't for Uncle, like, we never got to see Swami Chinmayananda, but because of Uncle, it was the way he would speak about Swami Chinmayananda, we would feel as if we were listening to Swami Chinmayananda. So he literally, like Mahesh was saying, Guru Parampara, we could actually see it through him. I miss him a lot, especially when there's any bhajans going on or satsangs like this, or he would always be in the very front. And but you know what, I still can hear his voice in my ears, and I hope I will forever hear his voice in my ears. And I can hear his laughter, his smile. So even when I close my eyes, he's still in all of our hearts. So I'm so forever grateful for Dharmarajan Uncle and Auntie. Thank you so much.
Hari Om. We are all actually here to celebrate the life of Dharmarajan Uncle. When I think of him, I see a dedicated teacher, a passionate student, a great scientist, a spirited guide and philosopher, a caring and loving husband, father, grandfather, a good friend, and a wonderful human being. A student. Yes, he believed in lifelong learning. He has been attending various classes. Even the Wednesday before he passed away, we were all together in a class. He believes in learning forever. He even attended Bhagavad Gita classes that others conducted. He has actually taught so many others Bhagavad Gita, but he still felt he wanted to listen how others interpret and incorporate different ways of interpreting and different ways of communicating with his audience. He was also a student of Sanskritam, and I very well remember performing several Sanskritam programs in Chinmaya Mission. I remember in one of them, we were all acting like office goers, and someone gave the idea of how about cutting office today and going to see a movie. And the actress was Deepa Padukone, and Dharmarajan was as enthused about cutting office and going to see a movie with all of us in that drama. As a teacher, I was very blessed to be one of his students. I need not tell you about how wonderful a teacher he is. We all know him, that it's not only the adults that he taught, but he's also taught the kids. Some of us are good in teaching adults, some of us are good in teaching kids, but he was good in teaching both adults and kids. He can come down to the level of a kid and give them the answer that suits a kid. He has lit several candles, and these candles forever will keep the light on. When he retired, he asked me whether, is there an opportunity for me to come and teach some classes in your school? That is how passionate he was. Even after retirement, he wanted to be engaged with chemistry. A scientist, he has made significant contribution to Bayer, worked for so many years in the same place. Staying in one place for that long only means that how dedicated he is to the work he was doing. A philosopher and a guide. In Tamil, there is a saying, "Ellam karachi kudichava." Someone who is very proficient in a lot of things, so widely read. He has the unique ability to bring in quotes from multiple sources. He will quote Chinmaya and the next minute talk about Akanda Makaraj. He just goes from one area to another area in terms of narrating something related to what he's discussing that day. A loving and caring family man. After retirement, he made it a point to go and visit his grandkids and spend time with him. A perfect gentleman, ever smiling, really taught us how to really smile. Always encouraged others. I have never seen him upset or angry, always calm and collected. He has touched the lives of so many in our community. Even though he's not here physically, he will live in our hearts, in our minds, in our memories, and will continue the journey with us. Dear Dharmarajan Uncle, we are so very thankful to the God Almighty for having you as part of our life journey. Dharmarajan Uncle not only taught Vedanta, he lived it. Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om and Namaskarams to everyone. My name is Janya Iyer and I'm a Balavihar student here at CM Pittsburgh. The members of the Chinmaya family are my extended family, and I have been attending Balavihar since before I was born. On behalf of all the Balavihar students here at CMP, I would like to mention that we children are able to attend Balavihar, have such a lovely community here at CMP, learn values from our scriptures, and train ourselves for the challenges ahead only because of the work done by Dharmarajan uncle and others such as him. We can't express enough our gratitude to them for all the hard work that they have done. I have fond memories of uncle and Visala Mami used to come to our house for Navaratri Golu functions. I would sit in his lap and he would request Akka to sing songs. I also loved to talk in Tamil with him. As a member of the younger generation, I, along with other children, pray to Bhagwan that we get the strength and blessings to carry forward the hard work done by Dharmarajan uncle in fulfilling Pujya Gurudev's dream. Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. His big smile, his words of wisdom, his patient attitude during even the most turbulent kinds of moments or anxiety-provoking moments. These are just some of the sentiments I feel when I think of Dharmarajan uncle. I had the privilege of meeting uncle in 2008 when CMP was just opening up, and he used to conduct a early morning satsang, and it was truly my first introduction to being in a satsang kind of format. I'd never thought myself to be in such a thing, that I'd be interested in such a thing. And somehow the discussions that he led were so inspiring, were so thought-provoking. And in part, I owe it to him for getting me involved in this and seeing that catalyst in him that catalyzed me to be a part of this organization. But his impact goes far beyond that. He really taught, I think, through his love of satsang, his love of teaching, his love of Vedanta, really showed me how to think and how to communicate, actually, about these things. It's so frequent that I think about when we're doing our own programs, there's so often that I think and I say, oh, this is something that I say something and I think, oh, that was Dharmarajan uncle's saying, actually. Some of you might know the story of the marble sannyasi. I won't go into it, but this is stuck in my head maybe for the last 15 years. His impact to me personally has been profound, but really it's to all of you here, to this community, it goes beyond even that. And so all I can say is that yes, there is some sadness, but really the most powerful emotion that I have right now is one of gratitude and joy. And so to that, I'm grateful for Dharmarajan uncle.
Thanks a lot, Suresh. So at this point, I'd like to request Sheila and Shekhar, Dharmarajan uncle's children, to come up on stage. And while they're getting settled, just a quick, on a humorous note, Sheila and my first introduction to Dharmarajan uncle was back in 2008. His elder sister happened to be a teacher in our school when we were little. And we obviously talked to him, and he said, oh, he's from Bombay. And then he said, my elder sister is in your school. You know that, right? And the face was very, very familiar. So this elder sister was slightly on the heavier side. So all of the children used to call her Gundu Janaki. Gundu in Tamil means fat. So I looked at uncle and I said, oh, Janaki teacher. And she said, Parvale, Gundu Janaki chollikyo. He said, it's okay. You can say Gundu Janaki because we all used to call her Gundu Janaki. So I was extremely ashamed at that time, but he was so, as you all know, he's just full of love and compassion. And I know the one thing that we will obviously miss is his wishing us Hari Om, and plus, after every event, he'll say, hey, you guys are doing a wonderful job, okay? that one comment will, I think, will be with us all the time. I think he would have told it to everyone here. So again, personalities such as Dharmarajan uncle do not pass away. They're always here with us.
Thank you. Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji. I'll just go through some pictures of my dad and show you kind of his life through pictures, and I'll try to relate some quick stories and things. There are not very many pictures from his childhood. I told this story at his funeral. His father died when he was 4 years old, and his mother died when he was 5 years old. So he actually had a very difficult childhood. He would go from house to house, from one relative's house to another. He would stay there for 1 year or so and then have to move to another relative's house. And that's really how he spent his whole childhood. He never had parents that loved him. He never got to experience that love of a mother and father. He never had anybody buy him anything new growing up. He never had new shirts, new clothes, toys and things like that. And I think this is probably what gave him some vairagyam even at a very early age. He went at one of the houses, there were some books by Swami Vivekananda that he started reading, and he became very interested in spirituality. It must have struck him at that time as to some of the reasons for why did this happen to me? I haven't done anything in my life, and why am I going through all of this stuff? So in fact, in the 8th grade or 9th grade or so, the teacher went around the class and asked everybody, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he got up and said, sannyasi. And everybody laughed at him. Yeah, sorry. Everybody laughed at him, but he was very sincere in what he said there. He also actually went and listened to a whole talk on Kamba Ramayan for 1 month when he was about 12 or 13 years old. So his interest in spirituality started at a very young age. This is when he finally moved in with his brother, and he went to college there. He actually, he joined the National Cadet Corps, actually, and was in the National Cadet Corps while he was in college. This is some pictures of him post-graduation. After graduation, he actually got a job at the Baba Atomic Research Center, where he worked there for a few years. One of these guys here next to him had told him, hey, I want to go to America and kind of become rich and famous, and something that they said kind of stuck with him. And he said, I think that's a good idea, and I'm going to do it. And so he actually ended up doing it. None of these other guys ever did it. So this is him and his send-off in India here. You can see he goes with one suitcase. This is all he had, basically, when he left. This was back in 1968. He came back in 1970 to marry my mother. These are pictures from the wedding here. More pictures from their wedding and the reception here. And then after this, you can see he went through a lot of different looks to try to appeal to his new bride. A mustache, beard, everything. And I think it worked. They had a fairly good time as newlyweds here. You can see newlywed life. And then finally, the best day of his life happened. His son was born. And so, and you can see here that, we spent a lot of time together. I don't have really any pictures from birth. And this idyllic happiness that the three of us had together was then, here was birthday parties, was ruined with the birth of his daughter, Sheila, here. That made the four of us. You can see here, this is actually my grandmother had made a promise to Bhagavan that, if my mom's oldest child, or her first child was a son, that we would take him to Tirupati. So that's why, that's that story there. And of course, he instilled Indian culture in us at a very young age. This is my Upanayam ceremony. Sheila's Arangetram. So we were deeply mixed in Indian culture growing up, and it was deeply inculcated within us. And these are just some family photos of us growing up. And in about 1980 or so is really when his life kind of changed completely. He'd always had this interest in spirituality and religion and Hinduism. But in 1980 at the SV temple, he listened to a series of talks by Swami Dayananda, who was then of the Chinmaya Mission, on a textbook entitled Meditation and Life, which was written by Puja Gurudev. And that really changed his whole life. After that, he began meditating regularly. He met Puja Gurudev. We went to all of his family camps every summer. This is a picture of us here, and another picture here. I was actually just recently looking through a book at our house. This is a book published by Chinmaya Mission. It's called My Children, a photo essay of Swami Chinmayananda with all of these pictures of children. That is, sorry, it got cut off. That's my sister with Swamiji there. And right next to that page, the heading of the section for this page is actually, it's missing here, it says right parenting. And the whole thing is about right parenting. And it couldn't be more appropriate. This is how my dad taught us, was through these values here. It was really like what Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, itite jnanamakyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushya tadasheshena yate chasi tata kuru. Right? Here's this knowledge. I'll give you this knowledge. Think about it. Chew on it. And then do whatever you think. And that's really how we were raised growing up. He went through our graduations, college, high school, college, medical school, surgery residency. He saw us both get married, receptions. This is his, I'm sorry. What? Oh, this is that Gunda Janaki right here. This is his older sister and older brother in India. This is again all in India. Weddings, receptions. And then, of course, after we were kind of set with our lives and we kind of got married and started having families and started developing our careers, he really started pursuing his passion, of course, which was pouring his life into Chinmaya Mission and Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh. He would go to Mahasamadhi camp every year. This is in Trinidad and Tobago, of course. This one here is in Dallas, Fort Worth. He was a Balvihar teacher for a long time. Amanapa also got to travel a little bit also. They've been to Australia. They've visited other countries. And really the last passion of his life was his grandchildren. This is him playing with my sons. And here is with Sheila's kids also. This is something, so this is called, in Tamil we call it Kadanondrdu, which is my middle son. Sorry. I like to grab his ear. And that became a special bond between them that they continued kind of even as they grew up. And, sorry. This is my youngest son. When he was in 6th grade, they asked him to pick his hero. And he chose my dad. And you can see why he chose my dad here. I'm not going to be able to read this. And then this is all of us together about 3 weeks before he passed away at his 80th birthday. Okay.
Pranam Swamiji. Good evening, everyone, and Haryam. Thank you so much on behalf of my entire family for being here today. Thank you for organizing this wonderful tribute. Thank you for organizing the opportunity to come together and to commemorate my father. It's certainly a testament to who my father was and the impact that he's had on those around him. The Chinmaya Mission family has been intertwined with mine since I was pretty much born. I fondly remember tagging along with my father at times to the weekly Sunday group. This is when it was only about 5 or 6 people and they would meet every Sunday in Oakland. I remember hosting camps here in Pittsburgh and attending camps all around the United States growing up. And the fact that we are gathered here today at Amarnath, this beautiful temple and this center for Vedantic studies, how much CMP has blossomed over the years really speaks, of course, to the power of Swamiji's teachings, but also importantly, to the power of community when we come together with true devotion, faith, and hard work. And while I've always known and felt the power of this community my whole life, perhaps no more so than in the past 73 days. 73 days, of course, being when my father's season on earth ended. 73 days when I've thought about him numerous times, and I am reminded of him all the time, during minor things, during major things. Even in fact, today on my way to the airport, I would remember how my father insisted we be at the airport 2 hours beforehand, a trait that I did not get, but something that always comes to mind. It has also been 73 days that this community has really come together and supported my family with the love that cannot be described with mere words. But know that we have felt it, we continue to feel it, and are ever grateful for everyone's support. I've been asked a lot of times over the past 73 days, how am I doing, how am I coping, how am I feeling, as we learn to live our life without my father on this earth. How does one really answer that? Well, I am Dharmarajan's daughter, I am my father's daughter. And so WWDS, what would dad say, what would Dharmarajan uncle say? And as all of you know here, my father's response to pretty much everything, any question, it doesn't matter what it was vibrantly punctuated with snippets of Vedanta. I've had many lectures in my life that have brought Vedanta into my life from a very young age. So when I was younger and I would feel lazy about practicing piano or maybe studying, the lecture was about the path of good versus the path of pleasant. When I felt bogged down by the trials and tribulations of life, kids, work, home, we've all felt these things before, my dad's lecture was about putting things in perspective and remembering that we are nothing but a speck in this universe. But perhaps most importantly, one of my father's biggest lectures over the years has been about fear, or to be more precise, being fearless. He has often brought up how Lord Krishna's sacred advice to Arjuna in the battlefield of the Mahabharata was about freeing oneself from fear. And so here we are today, 73 days later. How am I feeling? How am I doing with my fear? Unfortunately, I can't ask my dad. I can't hear his lectures again in person, and yes, that makes me sad. But what he has given to all of us here has really been the wisdom of Swamiji's teachings, and as he's taught us this over the years. And so, of course, I turn to Swamiji's teachings whenever I've been facing over the past 73 days. And one line, and I'm going to pardon my pronunciation, Ashocyan anvashochastvam. It's a famous line from the Bhagavad Gita. And Swamiji interpreted it as saying, you are unnecessarily grieving over people you need not grieve. He goes on to explain that while you may have sadness, do not come under the influence of it. Grieving is a state where you're so sorrowful, you do not know what to do. And so it's not easy, but again, I am my father's daughter. I know that he would not want me to grieve. That is not who he was, that is not what he taught us to do, and that is not how he taught us to live our life. As my father would say, I'm in control of my mind or how I can perceive or see a situation. And so just as he would advise, I'm changing the prism of my mind and changing my perspective. And when I do that, I have overwhelming gratitude. I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky. What punya must I have done to be born his daughter? And the fact that I have had the wisdom of his teaching since I was born, since even before I was born. And these learnings I can take through my own life and hopefully impart to my own family. And while it's not always easy to have this perspective, I do understand, as he has taught me from a very young age, this is only the physical body that we're in right now on this earth. It is not who we are. His soul is immortal. And no matter how much we will all miss his physical being, and trust me, I miss it a lot, his soul and his consciousness will always be with me, a part of my family, a part of everyone here, his extended Chinmaya Mission family. And he is always surrounding us with his love and his blessings. And so it is with those blessings in mind, I choose not to grieve. That's not what my dad would have wanted. But rather, I choose to celebrate his life and hopefully carry forward even an iota of what he has given me. And as for his lectures, well, I know we all missed them. Every single person I've talked to today has talked about some story, some parable, some moral that he's taught through his lectures. I will miss them. I'm not going to see them across our kitchen table or on a Zoom or on FaceTime when he would talk to my kids. But I do know that they will always be a very core part of who all of us are here. So with that, again, thank you so much on behalf of my entire family. We're so very grateful for this wonderful support and love we have felt from everyone here. My dad would have been so happy today to see everyone and to celebrate us all being here at Amarnath and at CMP. And so we're all so very grateful for that. Thank you.
Hari Om to all of you. After hearing all of you speak about Dharmarajan Ji, whom I have not interacted much, but as all of you said, he's a person who had brought a lot of cheers around him always. And that's one of the characteristics of a person of knowledge. No grieving, as his daughter said. Because grief shows lack of faith, grief shows lack of devotion, grief shows lack of wisdom. A person of knowledge and wisdom and devotion takes life's challenges very cheerfully, for he or she knows nothing remains the same all the time. Gurudev used to say, even this will pass away. From the study of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, we all know the soul never dies. Only the body does. And when we understand this, I'm sure all of you would pray for the soul that had lived fully, completely, joyfully, cheerfully in this body, the body that he left behind, had moved on to the next level, higher level. So we have to really celebrate such a personality who had done great work to the community, stood by the things they learned through scriptures, shared with many people, made changes in many people's lives, and something which we all should emulate. Such people would definitely inspire us to make our life better than what it had been before. It is said that one of the Supashitas in Sanskrit, Vakaro Panchapir Yatra Purushaha Sarvatra Pujyate Vastram Vapuhu Vachaschaiva Vidya Tata Vinayamcha. 5 things actually make people notice you. You want to be noticed? First thing is the clothes that you wear. I'm sure all of you agree that. Because a person is first noticed physically. And Gurudev always insisted that if you are a man of knowledge, you should present yourself correctly. Don't wear shabby clothes. Don't go to temples with shorts. Respect the place. Respect the people who are going to see you. Respect the environment in which you are going to be. So the clothes that you wear, vastram it's called in Sanskrit. And as the pictures I saw, he's always well dressed. at least the pictures are showing that. I'm sure he is, definitely, yes. I had seen him many, many occasions. He always had presented himself very well. And second is Vapuhu. Vapu means body. Demeanor. How you carry on yourself. How do you talk? Next one is watch or walk. So the Vapuhu, the body, it should not be looking very tired, exhausted. Gurudev was a best example. Even as he had very sickly body, but he never would show that, or he won't appear like that when he sits on the dais and starts talking. You will never believe that he had only 24% of his heart working. Even as he was old and he was leaving his body at 77, he had such a very powerful presence. In his way he would talk, the way he would walk. Many people have realized that a real man of knowledge should be like this. We all had seen him, and I'm sure Dharmarajan Ji might have shared those things with you all about his experiences with Gurudev. So, Vastram, Vapuhu, walk. And what has made these possible for a man of knowledge is Vidya and Vinayam. The knowledge that is gained and the humility that that person expresses. See, these are the 5 things which we see in men of great knowledge, and that is very good lesson for all of us, especially today's children. You have to teach them. In today's world, wear whatever you want, say whatever you want, that is not our culture. That is not the way we carry ourselves. And Dharmarajan, like people who have lived and taught and inspired many people, will be remembered at all times. And I'm so happy that Chinmaya Mission Pittsburgh had organized such an occasion for him, to remember him, and also asked me to come and speak. Thank you so much.
Hari Om, everyone. It seems somehow appropriate that we move from this celebration of Dharmarajan Uncle's life to this Jnana Yagna that Swami Ishwaran is going to give over the next several days. Appropriate because Dharmarajan Uncle would surely be here in attendance had he not passed on. And appropriate because many of the things that Uncle taught us are exactly the kinds of lessons that Swami Ishwarananda will teach us over these next few days. Swami Ishwarananda comes to us from Chinmaya Mission, Los Angeles. He has been there for almost 30 years. Imagine the kind of resolve, the kind of talent it takes to be running such a huge center for such a long time. Swami Ishwarananda is one of the great pillars of Chinmaya Mission. He not only has served as the leader of one of its largest centers, but he also serves as the director of Chinmaya Mission West, and he's had many other roles in Chinmaya Mission, including leading the Yuva Kendra group and other big tasks that the mission has assigned him because of his ability. He actually started as in software consultancy, and through the influence of Gurudev, he took the course in Sandipani, and ultimately from then on, the rest is history, as we say. I hope one day of these next several days, Swami Ishwarananda will tell us the story of how he was influenced by Gurudev. I've heard it, and I don't want to try to tell it. Swami Ji tells it much better than I do. But